Yo, 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 another guitar lesson here. We've got a question from Cole Sizemore. Do you have any tips on how to train yourself to recognize scale degrees by ear? Great question. The main thing I would say, just to get you started with your instrument, would be, first of all, scale degrees all require a reference point, that being 1. So if you're going to work on your ear, you need to make a point to be very aware of a reference point. So for example, if I'm playing an A, let's say A is going to be my reference point. So if I want to really hear the scale degree, I'm going to play A with the scale. So I got 1, 2. That's what the 2 sounds like. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you play that, or I got a little loop here. That's a good idea too. Just loop and then play with that. The key is that you're aware of the scale degrees, because you're not going to be able to train your ear unless you're aware of the scale degrees. So if I target this 3 and maybe like a 4, now I'm hearing personally that 4, I know that 4 creates tension and it wants to fall back to the 3. That's that sus sound. Okay? So, in other words, that's the first thing I want to kind of get through. The point is that you really need to have that reference point, that sound. So whether you got a loop pedal, sounding a note, or you're just using your thumb, and then maybe also practice saying. First, just play the scale and just try to just really listen to each of them. And then when it really starts to make sense is if you try to just like end a phrase on a certain note. So for example, see what it sounds like if I end on a 3. It's really strong. It's very stable. Now if I try to end on, let's say like a 6, that wants to go somewhere. There's the 5. The 5 is stable. 3 is stable. 1 is stable. You can hear that 2 is stable. Where does it want to go? Either 1 or 3. The 7 has a very distinct sound to me. Well, it's the leading tone. It really wants to go to 1 or 8, however you want to look at it. 5, 3. So practicing finding the stable notes, 1, 3, 5, hitting those, they each have a different feeling to them, emotion. And I would say, yeah, you're going to start to develop your ear as far as those notes go. And then eventually you're going to get into different scales. Like, for example, maybe I do a flat 7, Mixolydian. There's that flat 7. Yeah. So, I've developed my own relationship with these scale degrees, and I encourage you to do the same. It's kind of an exploration. you kind of think of it as like a taste test. You're like testing out different flavors. It's just with your ear. Yeah. And so that's gonna help. Also, another thing to think about is just find some songs, some easy songs with 3, 4 chords in them, and see if you can find out which one is the one. Where is everything resolving? If you can start to do that, then you're getting your foundation. And once you got one, then you can, okay, where do I go from here? What is that chord in relationship to one? You just got to know where one is. If you don't, then there's no relationship, and there's no way you're going to know the scale degrees. You're going to be able to maybe find the notes on your instrument, but scale degrees is a way to develop relative pitch, which is what people strive to do. Some people have perfect pitch, but even if you have perfect pitch, you still have to develop relative pitch, because perfect pitch, I could tell you exactly what note I hear, but the relationship is the interval. I'd have to learn what those are. And so we all have to learn relative pitch. And I would take my time if I were you. Definitely take your time. Start simple. Find some easy tunes. Maybe just like, check out like a blues song and just start halfway through the song and see if you can, okay, where's one at? Or what chord are they on right now? Because it's just 1, 4, 5 most of the time in blues. Once that becomes automatic, then start looking for songs. Maybe there's a 6 chord in it, or you could even type in songs that are like, 4 chord songs. Just type it in, 4 chord songs. I guarantee it's probably a 1, a 4, a 5, and a 6, or a 3, a 6, a 4, and a 1, something like that. So, and that you're just listening for the root note. Really important. Don't get caught up in the chord, because there's a lot of information in the chord. Just try to locate the root of the chord. The bass line is going to be hitting the root of the chord. So if you start to hear like a see it all resolved there. 6, 6, 5, 2, 1. Okay. So anyway, that's just a quick little lesson there for you. I think the more you're aware of the scale degrees, the patterns when you're playing them, you're going to start reinforcing your ear. If you're just seeing shapes on the guitar, you're not going to have a clue what scale degrees you're playing. You're not going to be able to memorize what it sounds like. So that's why scale degrees are so important. And I teach them, a lot. Anybody who wants to improvise, anybody who wants to write their own music, anybody who's interested in music and wants to get better, scale degrees are very necessary, very important. So anyway, hope this helps you. And if you have any other questions, hit me up. Peace.